We've recently added some celestial parts to our freehand components, and so I'm gonna, in this video, look at how you can build, I'm gonna call it a celestial stack, using freehand components to create kind of a unique assortment of rings. So I just need a simple band for this first style, so I'm gonna left click to remove those gems. And then I'm going to go back into my freehand parts and look under shapes and find the stars that I'm looking for. So we'll just scroll down here towards the bottom. We've got a couple of different stars to choose from. I really like this one, so we'll add it out onto our screen. And it's kind of small when it first comes out, so we'll just bring it up and place it approximately where we want it to be. And I'm going to close up the gap between these two sides of my shank. I don't want this to be a full ring, I kind of want an opening at the top. And so I'm just going to slide those a little bit closer together. And then we can go in and place our star. So we're just going to use our arrow keys to move this left and right. And once we have it approximately where we want it, we're going to use this yellow handle to three-dimensionally scale it to make it larger. That looks pretty good. It's actually a little recessed into the metal. I want to bring it up just a little bit. I can also, at this point, if I want, kind of rotate this or bend it, whichever one I prefer, to kind of make it follow the angle of my ring. And again, when I did that, it kind of submerges some of the design into the band. So I'm going to bring that up. And I'm also going to make it a lot thicker. So again, right now it's kind of thin, just looks like an add-on piece, and we want to get it a lot thicker so that it's nice and noticeable when it's being worn. That one looks nice, and I would definitely like to have one on the other side, so I'm going to left click on side mirror, and that gives me my two stars. Now again, I wanted a little bit of space between these two. What I may come back to is my shank and just open up that profile span just a little bit more because these stars got larger so that I could see the detail. I didn't quite get what I was wanting as far as the amount of space between those. So now I can just move those stars out, and now I've got a little bit of a gap between the two. So that's a good for my first stack in this group of celestial stacking rings. I'm going to go back to that shank that I had before, and I'm just going to duplicate it because it looks pretty good. If I duplicate this one, then I know for sure that I have the style and the same size, and everything kind of looks the way that I want it to. And now I'm just going to close up this gap at the top, and then we'll add a moon to kind of give us something different. So let's come back in here. Again, I go into shapes, and I'm going to go all the way to the bottom where I have quite a few different celestial items to choose from. I'm going to grab this one. And we're just going to drag him into position on this other band that we've created. And we're going to scale it down a good bit using that yellow three-dimensional scale handle. And then place it on our shank. So that looks pretty good. Again, if I want, I can make this a lot thicker. And I'm just going to bring it down into that crease in my shank. That looks pretty good. I'd like to add one more band. So I'm going to again select a shank, left click to duplicate that shank, and this will be the third and final ring in my stack. And then we're just going to drag it maybe to the other side of our star piece. And this time I want to add a stone. So I'm going to go in and just grab a bezel set stone to kind of be the third version of this ring that we're going to look at. So I can left click on that bezel and add it out onto my screen. Once we've got the bezel out on our screen, we can drag it up and over. And then we want to size it. Maybe we'll go with like a 10-point stone. And we just want to make sure that we're happy with the placement on that one. You can always use your top-down view just to make sure that you like the way everything is looking. So now that we've got those 3 bands designed, we can go in and start to change metal colors. A lot of times for stackable bands especially, it's nice to be able to have some variety in color. So maybe I'll make this ring yellow, I'll leave the one in the middle white, and we'll go with maybe a 2-tone option on the 3rd version. Now we can bring out our design try-on hand and see what we think of this stack that we've created. We can turn off those design handles so we can take a look at our finished product. You can always go in and select your gem using any gem, any color, and maybe change this, instead of a diamond, maybe to a sapphire, and see how this stack is going to look together. And that's how I would build this 3 stackable ring celestial stack.